good morning and welcome. I'm your host, Sule A. Joseph, a counseling psychologist by profession. Today we continue on our three-part series on forgiveness. Today's episode, we take a delve into another part or aspect of that. Forgiveness, of course, we're talking about here. And we look at letting go. How do you know when to let go? When is it time to let go? And what is the difference between forgiving someone and letting go? But before we get into all of that, you know the drill. It's my favorite segment, Psyched to Know.
Psyched to Know, brought to you by Sule Joseph and Associates.
Forgiveness means different things to different people, but in general, it involves an intentional decision to let go of resentment and anger. The act that hurt or offended you might always be with you, but working on forgiveness can lessen that act's grip on you.
We exposed 5 strangers to KFC's delicious chicken to see if any time could be KFC time. And at the first bite, the party began. We repeated the experiment during the day, during business hours, on weekends, with sunshine, with rain. And it's confirmed. KFC's flavor makes anytime KFC time. KFC, it's finger licking good.
August 14th, local government election night returns. Understand what's happening in your community. WESN presents our special election coverage with a panel of trusted citizens and context you will not get elsewhere. Special coverage begins from 7 p.m. on the premier platform for Caribbean content, WESN.
I forgive you, but I can't forget. I'm holding on to it without regret. I should be a poet, shouldn't I? But for those persons who talk about forgiving someone but not forgetting the issue, is there a difference between forgiving someone and letting go? Well, joining me this morning is a good friend of mine. Well, I think I've taken some liberty with that, but a friend of mine, Miss April James, a marriage and family therapist. Good morning, Miss James. Are you with us?
Good morning. Hi, everyone.
All right. April, thanks for being with us this morning.
Yes.
All right, thank you very much for that. So, let's get the hard question out of the way first and foremost.
Yes.
Is there a difference between forgiveness and letting go? Or is it the same thing?
Oh, I believe there's definitely a difference between forgiveness and letting go, right? Because, of course, Sule, I can say I forgive you, but I may not necessarily like let go of the pain or the hurt that you probably have caused me. So forgiveness is the act of just saying I'm sorry or being remorseful or letting that person go in terms of what they did, right? But you can hold on to that guilt or the pain or whatever that person has done to you. You can hold on to that. And what could also happen is, because if you do not release it, because I think of it as like forgiveness, somebody gives you a balloon, and releasing it is that balloon going up in the air and you releasing the pain that that person has caused. So many times we could forgive, or we could still hold on, which in turn later on along the line, if we don't eventually let go of that thing, we could end up, coming back to that place of having some bitterness towards that person.
So there is a significant difference between letting go and forgiveness.
Yes, definitely.
So can we say then, is forgiveness the act of letting go, or is letting go the act of forgiveness? Or neither?
Ooh, that's good. I would say letting go is the act of forgiveness, because I feel like we can forgive but not let go. But once you let go, you also automatically really forgive that person. So I think letting go is the act of forgiveness. The true act, I should say. The true act of forgiveness.
Okay. So then letting go is the true act of forgiveness. Then you can forgive without letting go, or you can't forgive without letting go.
You can't forgive without letting go. People usually forgive, but you can forgive, right? But you're letting go. Because remember, the memory of a thing could usually make us bitter or angry if we remember. So yes, you forgive the person, but sometimes the memory is what we hold on to. Is that piece of the thing that it takes us a bit longer to really begin to release the pain or the trauma that person may have caused us.
Well, a good example, well, I don't know if it's a good example, but an example might have been in Alabama recently. There was a big fight that went viral, and everybody spoke about, this fight was for reparations, and there was one black person being attacked by somebody of a different ethnic persuasion, and a bunch of strangers of the black person's ethnicity rallied into his rescue, and the fight escalated and went. But everybody talked about, it's reparations, and in this time that white people can't be attacking black people, and persons went into a whole tirade about all these things in the past that now some people saying was so long ago. Why people still bringing that into the mix? Why can't they just let it go? So I don't know if, so when we talk about...
I don't know if we want to talk about race and culture, especially in the US, that's embedded, that's so deep. But something like that, you can tell because of the pain that was caused through slavery and the racism that is still active in the US, it's very hard for Black America to even let go because they still see it happening. So example, let's say you are in a situation where your partner did something to you and you forgive the person, but this person repeatedly does the same thing over and over. At some point, you're going to be like, how much will I have to forgive you? Like, I have forgiven you 10 times and you are not learning from my remorse, like your remorse actually, in terms of, this is hurtful to me. If you say you love me, why are you still repeating the action? So at some point, you can either choose to forgive again, or you can say, I forgive you, but I'm not letting go of your memory, as you know what, this person might hurt me again. And I think it's the same thing with the example you just used. Yes, some of them may have forgiven, but because it is a repeated offense, it's very hard for them to let go of the pain and the trauma that is being caused.
So actually you beat me to the punch because I was going to use that example to bring it home to relationships. Beat me to the punch, where we have persons who seem to be traumatized. And for viewers at home who watch me frequently, when I talk about trauma, basically we're talking about too much too soon or too little over a long period. so that the brain can't process it effectively. So that's when we talk about trauma, that's what we're referring to. And you have persons who've been traumatized by whatever issues they've been facing in a relationship, whether it's being abused physically, verbally, financially, whatever have you, ignored, you're not receiving the type of love that you want over a long period. That too can be traumatic, right? And of course, it behooves me to bring this up. Of course, being cheated on. Being cheated on is also an aspect repeatedly that can be traumatic. How do I am in a marriage, right? I don't know if you are married, but could you throw your mind for a minute and think about being in a marriage and you find out that your spouse is cheating on you once, which is difficult, you find out twice, 3 times. How often must you forgive before you decide, now, does letting go mean letting go the issue or letting go the person? Because now you are traumatized perhaps, or perhaps so traumatized that this behavior has become normal. It's become normative. You are desensitized to the issue.
Right. So what
do you do? So letting go means letting go the person or letting go the issue?
I mean, in this situation of infidelity, if I was a wife, or even speaking as a marriage and family therapist dealing with couples, I'm appalled that someone will stay in a relationship where they are being repeatedly traumatized by their partner, who is supposed to be their safe space, someone that is trusting. So if this person is staying there and repeatedly forgiving their partner, and it's not, no behavior is being changed or adapted or even confronted, at this point you need to let the person go, because this person is not able to love you the way that you need to be loved.
But so I mean, if you and we say a horn is a horn only when you take it on. So I mean, if you let go of it and you don't take it on, is it still a horn? Is this, that's part of the cultural zygos, the cultural practice?
I mean, if you take it, it depends. If the person is taking it on, then you are affected. Then if the person is stressed out and frustrated and crying every night, depressed, you are taking it on. Most times when it comes to infidelity, if there are children involved or other issues, people find it hard to walk away. So they will forgive the issue, they will forgive the infidelity, but they will not forgive the person, and recognize the marriage begins to just get colder and colder, right? So in a situation like that, should we ever allow people to, or give them the idea that, you know what, this person mightn't change, but you can still stay? Should we give them that impression? I believe people should always feel empowered to make the best decision that is for them. If they are being hurt in a situation beyond their control and they are traumatized and you have the ability to leave, that is a situation where the person and the issue needs to be let go.
Well, one of the things that I've recognized is that there's a cultural shift through the generations. So where you would find older generations talking about letting go the issue and staying in the marriage, so you may find, or staying in the relationship, so you may find persons living within the same household but estranged. So living in different rooms, probably not talking to each other and so on. So they're not letting go of the relationship, but they decide that they're letting go, or physically letting go of the relationship, but they're letting go of everything else. Where we are now in a newer generation, within this capacity, you find younger generations holding on to the issue and letting go of the relationship. So you find persons may move on to another relationship, but with some of the baggage of a previous relationship where they feel hurt or traumatized by another relationship that they were part of. So they are quicker now to perhaps, I'm throwing this out to you, they're quicker now to perhaps let go of the relationship and not necessarily the issue. What are your thoughts on that?
So I think, just for the sake of the audience, that letting go is really you relinquishing that control or the power that this thing has over you, right? So the minute you are able to relinquish that control that this situation has over you, which I think our generation, my younger generation, we definitely have this understanding that, you know what, if it is not in my favor, I don't want it. Compared to, previous generations, God bless them, but they will really stick it out. They had to stick and we don't have it, right? They would stick through the issues, they would stay there, they would deal with it, and they would let go of the issue and not the person. So they valued relationship over situations. I think there's something to take from that, because I believe you can take certain things. I believe there's something to take from that in terms of, yes, relationships are important, but I also believe in healthy boundaries. If something was in this situation, someone is hurting you to the point that you are depressed or traumatized, and this is something that is affecting your mental, emotional, even spiritual or social health, we letting go of people in this time. And it's
you know, I think I saw a joke on social media where somebody said, listen, my mother stayed with my father, and he had X amount of outside children. You can't take one little horn. You know what I mean? So like, however, I usually, if I ask the inverse of that joke, is where it gets really serious, because okay, so what if as a man, can you take the inverse of that? Could you take your wife or girlfriend or whoever going out and having children with somebody else on the outside while with you? And usually that's where the joke kind of breaks down and it gets problematic, right? But for the audience at home, we have a better understanding of what letting go is. We are able to differentiate it from forgiveness and the idea of letting go, and where it stems from and all of that. But how do we let go? What is the actual process? If I want to move from a space of just forgiving somebody but holding on to the issues to a space where I actively let go of the issues, how do I do that?
Okay, Sule, so I have like just 3 simple tips, right? So give yourself grace, because we know that when we get hooked up with someone or we're attached to someone, letting go of someone is going to be very hard. We might forget the issue, but the person, the memory, the fun times, or whatever, it will stay with you. So you need to give yourself the grace to really just go through the process of how you feel. And a good technique, write letters. Write a letter to the person and tell them how you really feel about the situation. You may not give it to them, but this is your processing in terms of, I am hurting. I wish I could be with this person, but I know it is not healthy for me. So give yourself some grace and know that letting go, it does take time. Because the same time it took to build a relationship, it's even more painful to have to like tear that apart, So that's one. Then you grow. So give yourself some affirmations, affirm who you are. Because many times we get kind of, lost in that other person when we go into a relationship. So we forget who we are as a person too. Like you are individual, you are deserving of love. So that will be a time for you to remind yourself of who you are, why you are on the earth. You can rediscover goals. And I set affirmations, so I stress that. I can really affirm yourself. Even if you don't know what to say, you thank God for YouTube. You have so many resources now. Go and look up some affirmations to just help you to, push through that painful period. And the last one is
before you move forward, when you say affirmations, could you just tell us what for those persons who may not know what an affirmation is, what do you mean by affirmation?
Well, it's really about something that you are saying. It's a verbal expression of you reassuring yourself of either a mantra or something positive. So positive self-talk, right? And a situation where you have to let go of someone, that person may have been your peace or your safety, or they may have been your everything, they may have been your world. So now it's like you have to redefine what that means for you. And it could be a bit unfamiliar, it could be a bit scary, So a simple one would be like, you know what, this is going to be hard, but I can do hard things. Or, I can let go of this person, better will come to me. I'm making space for the new things that are coming towards me.
All right, I like that. I like that example. I'm making space for the new things that are coming towards me. Right. It's not that a singular, it's that I'm making space. I am making space for the new things that are coming towards me. All right, good. Go on.
All right, and the last one to go. Right, this is really about you like going towards your goals, and this is where the acceptance of the person and the thing, you have accepted that I'm letting this person go. I can see them and I'm not getting pain in my heart or like going about crying anymore. So you have come to this place of acceptance and you are able to now, you just kind of glow up. You have your glow up. Like that was your past, you learn from it, you're better because of it now. And it's like a new you. So it's grace, grow, and go. And each person, it will be the length of time. I cannot tell you what it's going to look like. Each person is different. That's why grace is the first one. Take your time, but make sure that if you know that this is something that you have to release, you do it. You may have to do it more than once.
So to recap, it's grace, growth, and go.
That's
I like that. Those 3 G's. So the 3 G's of letting go. Grace,
yes,
growth, and go. Lovely, I like it. Nice and easy for people at home. I think it's nice and easy. Now, in closing, because I know we can go on and on about this topic, right? In closing, we've recognized how perhaps when you know you need to probably let go, if you're in a situation where you're unhappy, abusive and so on, you find yourself crying, depressed, all of the things that you've mentioned, we understand what's the difference between forgiveness and letting go. We know how to let go, your 3 G's, grace, growth, and go, all right? Now, after you've done all of that, how are you certain that you don't carry any of this baggage onto a new relationship or when you might be ready for a new relationship? Because you know there are some of us who believe the best way to get over the last one. All right. So we know persons feel as though having somebody new distracts from the last issue and so on. And so how do we know when you've truly gotten to a space where you have relinquished the issue and you are unburdened and ready to move on to a new relationship and not take that baggage over?
I guess the most famous saying, right? You know, like when you no longer want revenge is when you know that you have to let go. But also be mindful that even when you go into that new relationship or it could be a friendship as well, and certain qualities and the new person may trigger you. That doesn't mean that you have relaxed. It's just a memory. Our body stores trauma. Our mind remembers painful things that we have been through. So you might find yourself being triggered. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have not forgiven or let go. It just means that this is still a place that is healing, right? And in the healing, you will, something like this, then my last person did this, oh my God. And you may have a panic. Be calm, give yourself some grace, breathe, and release it again, you know? Release the person, release the issue, and you know, like just trust the process. Trust that, you know what, this person who already may be showing similarities is not the same thing. And I think not panicking, because I know that is a big thing, not panicking. Because of course, when we do go through trauma, we kind of panic when we get a resemblance of that thing that hurt us. Remain calm and know that you have glowed up, you already glowed up. When you no longer want revenge, there you go. You're ready to let go and you're ready for the new.
When you no longer want revenge. All right, I think that's a nice and easy way to figure that out. So thank you very much, Miss Akila James, marriage and family therapist. All right, for joining us this morning. Now, if there's one thing that you'd like to leave with the folks at home, there's something that you want to resonate with them. We talked about letting go today, and we went through all the various aspects of it, identifying it, being able to differentiate it from forgiveness. What is letting go? How do you let go? And then how do you know when you've let go and you're now ready to move on? What would you like for the folks at home? And of course, I can't miss out the 3 G's of letting go, right? I can't miss out the 3 G's. But what would you like to say to the folks at home to resonate, for them to stick with out of this program today?
Okay, so I would definitely say letting go is for you. You know, many people may have hurt us, traumatized us, but the minute we begin to hold on to things, you know, it's like drinking poison. It poisons you. So letting go is the healthiest thing that you can do, and it's the most loving act for yourself. It's not for the other person. I know that we think it's for the other person, but this is the kindest thing that you can do for you. So I hope if you don't remember anything, when you think about letting go, know that I am doing something kind for myself, and I am freeing myself to whatever new that life has to offer me.
All right, I like that. So letting go is about self. It's about freeing yourself from the bondage of the pain and the hurts and being affixed to some of this anger and so on, which is unhealthy for you. So letting go is about self.
Definitely.
I like that. So Trinidad and Tobago and the rest of the region who will be watching, remember the 3 G's, right? And those G's again were, what was it? Was it grow? Grace, growth, and go.
Yes.
Right. Remember the 3 G's. Remember to let go. Remember it is for your own growth and your health and happiness. It's for you. For Akila, thank you very much. For those persons at home who would like to get in contact with you, perhaps they are having marital issues and want to reach out, how can they do that?
Sure. So you can find me on Facebook at April James, on Instagram at April James Therapy. And I will also put my phone contact here, 275-9881. Again, 275-9881.
All right. So you all heard that, Trinidad and Tobago, how you all can get on to Ms. James. Feel free to reach out. And until next week, please God, same time, same place, right here on the WESN family, stay psyched.